They don't think you could do it, but tell you to try when they talk. All I hope had to keep it alive. Spend a day in the Bronx, but you wouldn't survive. Can be low when I pop out, they know I've arrived. I go have conversations with Zoe, he gon' tell me pull up and come say what you know. I've been up, I can count all them days in a row. We don't say what we do, we be making the show. They say I'll be
the voice of the Bronx. We have Bronx Slam with the guys that are out here. Can I get a
yeah? Leave them all right where they at. Try to diss me, I bet I don't even react. Put a show on, I bet you somebody gon' I pick me a book up and drink me some water, invest in the stock. All kids on me back.
All right, peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. Today is a very special day on the platform. I know I say that a lot, but you know, every guest is different from their own journey and walks of life. And I was gonna cut a couple people off, but today everybody makes the cut, right? So when I interview somebody that I know or have mutual friends, I usually reach out to them to get like a personal message from them. Right. So for all the audience out there, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, tune in. But this woman deserves her flowers. And I usually limit it to like 3-4 people. But because she's born covered, because she's the author of Voices of a Foster Child, I'm going to introduce her, and then we're going to give her flowers. So everybody at home, stay tuned. But Darnella Miller, entrepreneur, author, philanthropist, mother, and owner and founder of Covered LLC. Wife as well, you know, wife. Can't leave that part out. Very important. You know, shout out to my brother, Sean Miller.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Been my brother 3 days, but my brother, he's my brother forever, you know what I mean? So why not start with him? Darnella, I remember us meeting in the halls of Medgar Evers College. Fast forward 20 years, and I've had the privilege of watching you flourish into an extraordinary woman, mother, wife, homeowner, student, college graduate, author, entrepreneur, and so much more. Anyone who knows me has heard me say countless times that Darnella M. Miller has the greatest success story of anyone I know. I've seen you rise above countless trials and tribulations, and I know you were able to overcome it all because you were born covered. Continue to be the wonderful spirit you are. Congratulations. Love you, my friend. We're going to go Malika.
I know.
Right? Shout out to Malika,
Shout
my
out
sister, my neighbor. You know, we grew up in the same neighborhood together. That's my big sister. So thank you for connecting us. For all the youth out there, you know, we should be collaborating with our brothers and sisters. It's extremely important to cultivate those relationships and stay in touch and build together. You know, we could be in different industries, and when they align, they align. If they don't, they don't. But overall, our intentions should always be to uplift our brother and sister.
Absolutely.
So I met Darnella Miller when I first arrived at First Baptist Church of Crown Heights, shortly before the pandemic. One of my fondest memory is blessing her youngest daughter Journey in a park. No, this is.
No, that's right.
No, this is right. Hold on, this is her.
Yeah, I know that story.
Okay, let's continue. Journey in a park in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was an out-of-the-box moment, this first. No, I think this is Reverend Rashad Raymond.
Yes, right. That's my pastor.
All right, cool. So then Malika's the one after.
Yeah.
Right? So Reverend Rashad Raymond Moore. Dr. Pastor, First Baptist Church of Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I met Darnella Miller, so I'll continue from there. Journey in a park in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was an out-of-the-box moment, the first and only time I'd ever done such a blessing outdoors. This unique experience symbolizes the special relationship I have with Darnella and her family. I have also had the privilege of watching her perform on stage twice, sharing her powerful story and with grace and authenticity.
Wow.
So let's make sure I don't butcher Malika. Because she's very, very important. Oh, no. Hold on.
No, you read the right one.
I read the right one.
Yeah, you read Malika first.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Reverend, all right, this is long, but I met Darnella when I first arrived. No. Seeing how God has moved.
That sounds like my pastor.
Yeah, there we go. Seeing how God has moved in her life fills me with excitement and gratitude. Darnella, your journey from the foster care system to becoming a mother, homeowner, thought leader, and the author is nothing short of extraordinary. You embody resilience, faith, and commitment to uplifting others that inspire us all. Your presence is a true blessing to our community. And I want you to always know how much you mean to me and the First Baptist Church of Crown Heights. Your story is a testament of the transformative power of faith, and I'm profoundly grateful to witness and be a part of your journey. With the deepest admiration and pride, Reverend Rashad Raymond Moore.
Thank you.
Malika, I love you. Please forgive me.
She'll understand.
She'll understand. She got to understand.
Yeah, she put us together, so she's fine.
All right, for Darnella, we met in church, and I'm not sure who adopted who first. However, I love her from the very depths of my soul. She has become my daughter. The only thing that separates us is blood. Papa Ron? Mm-hmm. All right. I met Darnella at First Baptist Church. Her grandmother is my first and favorite cousin. She told me her granddaughter had joined the church. I found her, and I've been in her life since then. Love her as if she were my own Aunt Luddy?
Auntie Ludi.
Auntie Ludi, right? It is rare you meet someone who seeks happiness and knows how to experience life with joy. Nella is someone everyone wants to be around. She loves with her whole heart and shines without trying. Now she's sharing that same joy with women in the foster care system that she wishes she had growing up. There's so much I could say about this mom, wife, sister, author, and CEO, but I'm so glad she's my best friend. Love you, Nella. Donna.
Donna. It's my heart right there, husband.
All right. All right, Keena. We're going to let you get it off on this one, Keena.
Keena went off.
All right, Keena. While I cannot remember when or how I met Darnella, she's truly someone I will never forget. I never hesitate to tell people that Darnella is the reason why I love my friends out loud. She is the epitome of the meme. Tell your friends you love them and make them uncomfortable. She's so unapologetically herself, and it's easy to be that way when you are as beautiful on the inside as you're on the outside. Darnella and I used to work in the same area of Manhattan, and ever so often we would meet up for breakfast or lunch. It was such a joy knowing that I didn't have to wait until Sunday at church to hang with my friend. Outside of just breaking bread, one of the most unforgettable moments with Darnella was when she prayed for me. I'm no stranger to traveling, but I was taking my first trip to Africa, and for whatever reason, I was getting nervous for the flight. The day before my trip, Darnella met me at my job to give me a hug and see me off. I think she could sense my anxiety, and right when I was explaining myself, she hugged me and prayed for me on the spot. I couldn't move, and all I could do was cry. She squeezed me, she squeezed the fear out of me, and I didn't even know before. I definitely knew then that she was one of my favorite people in the whole world. Congrats, Darnella. You deserve all of this and more. I love you, friend. Keena.
Wow. When did you get all that?
Malika got it for me. So shout out to Malika, you know. Did good by me. Let me see.
Malika, I love you,
all right, last
friend.
One. Dear Mom, words will truly never capture the depth of my love and gratitude for you, but I'll try my best. You have been my guiding light, my rock, and my sanctuary. Every moment of joy, every challenge we faced, your love has been the constant thing that sees me through. You've given me so much more than I could ever repay. Your sacrifices, your endless patience, and your bondless affection have shaped my world. You've taught me the true meaning of unconditional love, and have always been there to lift me up when I needed it most. Mom, you are the heart and soul of our family. Your strength, compassion, and warmth make every day brighter and every obstacle surmountable. I celebrate you today and every day because you are my hero, my inspiration, and my greatest blessing. Thank you for being the incredible woman you are. I love you more than words could ever say. With love, your first love, Denasia.
We ain't even get started yet.
Can I get
tissue? Is there
we
tissue?
ain't get started yet.
Wow.
I read yours first. Hold on, let me see.
Wow. Oh, gosh.
Hold on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you about to go?
Oh yeah, hold on. Hold on.
That's for last.
Save the best for last. All right. I met you officially in the corridor at First Baptist Church of Crown Heights. Since the day I was lucky enough to grab your pinky and share exactly 8 words, you've become my best friend, my rider, my person, my partner, my prayer partner, and above all, my beautiful and talented wife. I'm so proud of your accomplishments and whatever else God has in store for you, us. You're a very talented and gifted Black woman, and I'm honored to stand with you through it all. I told you before that what you planned for one, God planned for millions. Born Covered is here, Born Covered is you, and this is the birth of your son that will shine forever. Your husband, you,
husband.
me, forever us. All right.
Wow. We ain't even get started yet.
Listen. For everybody out there,
Oh man.
My Cash App and Zelle is my name. Don't worry about it. But I was thinking about it on the way here, and I was like, I gotta let everybody get theirs off. Because your story is incredible. Your story is remarkable. And it's one of those things where not everybody gets to see the other side of what you've been through. And I'm happy to have you here. You know, I'm happy that you chose this platform to roll your amazing book out, Voices of a Fostered Child, From Pain to Purpose by Darnella Miller. So introduce yourself to the world.
Hello, world. My name is Mrs. Darnella Miller. I am the founder and CEO of Born Covered, which is a program that helps young kids in the foster care system and the youth, parenting, young mothers, pregnant teens, because that's my passion, help themselves find self-discovery. You know, growing up in a system, we're labeled. People label us, so we tend to not to know who we are. So the program Born Covered is to let these children know you are more than who you think you are or who someone else says you are. So now we need to help you find self-discovery. Right. So we do workshops, we entertain, we, just love on these kids. And then on side of the being the founder and the CEO, I am now an author of Voices of a Foster Child, From Pain to Purpose, just telling my story because I've sat on it for so long. And I let it eat me alive, and I just want to heal out loud so someone that's hurting on the inside can just be free.
Right. So one of the first pages says, "For my dearly departed parents." Mm-hmm. Right. What do you remember about your parents?
I remember my parents, even though I grew up in the foster system. Well, not so much of my dad. I didn't get to see him until the later years. But my mom, I was taken away at 4 years old into the foster care system. And I remember she was always trying. She was always trying to do the best that she could. But we live in a system where, being in foster care, you get monies off of taking children away from their families instead of helping them. So just taking her children away, she still struggled. Right. And as I got older and she, my dearly departed parents, which means she's now going on to glory, she did the best she can. Now that she's gone and I have my own children and my own family, she could only do with what she had. And that also helps me to see, like, Mommy, I forgive you. I understand, because for so many years, I held on to that. And it affected me in my relationships. It affected me with my children. It affected me, like, I had just so much anger towards her because I felt like you chose drugs and substance abuse over me, and I'm your first child. You're my mother. I made you a mom. This is supposed to be us. And it wasn't until after she left this world that I said, Mommy, I understand. I forgive you. I get it. And with my dad, he came around during the time my mom died. Right. So my dad and I didn't start our relationship till I was like 27, 28 years old. And when I got him back, 5 years after my mom, I lost my dad. And I had no animosity or nothing against my dad when he came back into my life. Because it's like I already lost my mom. I don't want to lose my dad. Let's just make this do what it do. Because I have my own family now. I have my own children. And, I just wanted to forgive and live on. And I'm glad I did do that with both of them. Because 5 years of me and my mother finally getting along, she left me. Then me and my dad, 5 years later, he left me. So I have those and I hold on. And I don't regret or live with any type of remorse against them. Right. So I thank them because it actually made me who I am today.
The first 4. One of the lines says, "At home, my parents' addiction overshadowed their parental responsibilities." Mm-hmm. So it seems like it's almost like you had parents but really didn't have parents. Kinda.
Right. Like, sometimes I had to fend for myself. Sometimes I was left in school, had to wait for somebody to come pick me up. Being in another room, you know the scent of what with substance abuse in the air. You know, they couldn't cater to my own needs because they was too busy, into theirs.
Right. So, I mean, the book kind of gets straight to it.
It does. It does.
And as he was undressing me, my mother didn't try to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like your mom was just in another world. Almost.
Right.
As he disappeared into the dark, unsure of who is good or bad, right or wrong, I still reach for my mother for protection.
Absolutely. And I reached for her because that's all I knew. Like, I know my mother suffered from her own situations. But in that moment, and not to look at her and not see her protect me, but then when it was over, she still was the same person that was letting things happen. So she wasn't understanding. She wasn't in her right mind. So who else can I reach for? The only person that's there was her in that moment as he faded into the darkness. Who else can I reach for? I'm still a child who wants her mother. I'm the first four. Who's the person that you cling to more? Your mother.
Right.
And she didn't protect me in that moment. Maybe she didn't know how.
Right.
Maybe I didn't know what she was going through during that time that she felt that she couldn't protect me. But at the end of the day, I still reached for her because that's all I knew.
Right. I think that gives me a little bit of clarity in a situation where, I had gotten jumped when I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they definitely got the best of me that day.
Right.
And I get home and you expect your mother to be concerned and check on you, and she didn't really do much.
Right.
She was sleeping. I understand she was resting, she works 2 jobs, but I'm like hysterical. I'm frantic, I'm all over the place, and she didn't get up and come to my aid, and that's something that like I felt like I lost my confidence in her then. And maybe she didn't know how, maybe she didn't understand, or maybe for her it's like, he's a boy, he'll be fine. He made it back, so he must be okay, but that to me was a traumatizing situation, that I didn't know if I was gonna make it out of, because it was me and my friend, and it was like 15 people, and I was 12.
Years later, my mother wrote me a whole letter because we used to always go back and forth. And I'm like, well, you let this happen to me. How could you? And she said it to me in a letter. She said, Darnella, I was scared. I was high, and he was whipping my behind. And in 1985, that's all you know, heavy on the heroin, heavy in the crack system, heavy on the drugs in that era. And she said it to me. She said, I didn't know what to do. He was whipping my behind.
Right.
And she was fear. And then, once drugs take over and you trying to find the next thing to get high, unfortunately, her daughter was me, was, what? This is my trade-off.
Wow.
And I had to live with it.
And that was your uncle?
If you want to call him that.
Okay.
He was dealing with another family member that,
right.
that's
so like through marriage or friend or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him again?
No. Haven't seen him again. As far as I know, before I was so he's gone. He's gone to glory too.
Right. Leaving that unfamiliar room shortly after, I realized I wasn't the same girl who had entered it.
Because I was a young girl, just wanting to be with my mom, happy, dancing. Where we going? Just do. A little girl told her mom hand. And to come out, I'm not a little girl anymore. I've experienced something that adults should be experiencing, not a child at 4 years old. I shouldn't be touched this way. I shouldn't be looked at this way. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And to step out that building and to see the look on everybody else's face, which means I probably wasn't the first one. And so when I walked in there happy, hey, I'm with my mom, to walk out like I am not the same little girl anymore. It's hard. It's hard. And then to see it on other people's face, now I'm like embarrassed. Like, do they know what just happened to me? Was this planned? Like, how? I'm only 4 years old. How nobody knows a cry of a child? So, and I had to live with that for years. Like, to a point where I didn't even trust men around my children. And even if when I did have my girls, I didn't even want their fathers to bathe them, touch them. I got it.
Right.
It affected me. It affected me really bad.
From house to home, frequent relocation served as a constant reminder that, regardless of where I was placed, I'd never truly be a part of that family, always labeled as the foster child.
And that's what I said in the beginning as far as being labeled. I'm not the child that needed love. I wasn't the child that she just went through so much trauma. She needed a hug. Oh, that's the foster child. And to be placed in so many homes before the age of 6 years old, because I got taken away, as I said, at 4 years old. To be within 2 years, I was in at least 6 different homes. I didn't have time to trust nobody. I didn't have time to build relationships. At that point, I don't even know what love is because now I'm feeling unwanted. My mommy and daddy ain't want me. And now from house to house to house, am I not good enough? Do these people not want me? What's wrong with me? I didn't ask to be here. And that also because the system is so transient, you go from place to place to place where you don't even have enough time to even unpack your bag. And when it's time to go, get your black bag, throw it on your back and back to the agency. So what child, those are my precious years, feeling nobody wanted me, that affects you in the long run.
How were those first nights in your new home at the time?
I cried. I cried in my dreams. I cried. I wanted my mommy. And then to hear one of my foster mothers come up to, like, hearing her footsteps, stepping into the room, it was a trigger for me because those footsteps, I'm about to get a beating because I was also abused as a child. So anything triggered me, I was scared to sleep. I was scared to cry. I was scared to complain because I always thought I was going to get in trouble. And then even being in them different homes, even if I wasn't unhappy, I was scared to say something because I didn't want to keep being moved. Right. At least can somebody just say she's worthy enough to be kept. So right. House to house to house is just like, it's what it is, from house to house to house. Right. Because some of these foster homes, they don't keep you. It's for a check. And it's like, okay, well, now I'm not getting enough. Now I need another one. Now I need another one. Oh, this child is too bad. She not worth the problem. She not worth the money. Send her back. So, yeah.
I mean, I've seen it in movies and not too much in real life, but I guess there is a business behind being a foster parent.
Absolutely.
Because like usually a lot of 3-family homes, or 3 floors and stuff like that, it's usually like foster care parents, stuff like that.
Absolutely. I'm not saying we are. A lot of foster children are looked at as a check. You miss a bed is empty, you don't get paid for that bed. We need to fill this bed quick. I was in a group home, 14 years old. Anytime I ran away 15 minutes late, the cops were standing there. You're AWOL. How am I AWOL? I'm here. If you're not in at a certain time, they marking you AWOL, they calling the cops because they're losing money for that bed. So now I'm looked at as a check, not only in a foster home, because where I thought I was supposed to have a family, but now I'm in a group home where now I need to fend for myself. And now I'm just looked at as a check. So you want me to sit here so you can collect money for me? What about the needs? What about my needs for love? What about my needs for stability and security? I'm just a check? Yeah. So you gonna call the cops? Not to say, oh, I'm worried about her. What if something happened to her? No, because this bed is missing money.
So when do you start to feel like you're having some sort of balance in your life?
When I started having some balance in my life, if I'm being very, very transparent and honest, I'm just now getting balance in my life.
Very tasty, cheesy, onion, all of the above. One word to describe it, scrumptious, right? We from the town, so we just gonna say pause first, but it melts in your mouth. You just love it. You know what I'm saying? I wear this shirt to sleep. How much I love 7th Street Burger, man. It's near and dear to my heart. You see the logo? It's near to my heart. That's how we do it, man. Peace.
This book was definitely something I needed. Me and my husband during the pandemic, we was in a book club, and this book that I read by Ebony Stewart, it's called Behind These Four Walls. And we were reading it, it's like your walls of life. And they came on to the book club, and they asked me, what was your favorite part? And I said, my part was the wall of survival. the war where you need to live, the war where you need to protect yourself. And once I read it, I was like, husband, I know what I want to do. I want to write a book. I want to write a book. Because the author, Ebony, was like, you have a story that I would love to hear. You have a wall of survival that needs to be told. So Born Covered was actually supposed to be a book, not a program. So once I started writing, I started talking to the people at my church, Barbara Prophet. I got to shout her out because when I brought it to her as a book, she wrote me a whole curriculum. She was like, no, this is not enough. You can do more. And I think my balance is just now coming. It's because it was off. I didn't know my own feelings. I didn't know that I had triggers that was bothering me that would cause issues in my marriage.
Right.
So right now, and I would honestly say, writing this is healing. I leaned on my family hard because I had to relive some of these moments. Therapy, all of that. So right now, you can honestly say I'm getting my balance.
Right.
Right now.
Right. So I want to go through certain time periods of your life.
Absolutely.
So how was high school?
High school was fun. In the beginning, high school was fun. I was on a basketball team. I ran track. It was fun. I had my best friend, Lala. She was my big sister. She protected me because I felt like I didn't have anybody. And then, boom, 15, pregnant. I wanted to be an Alvin Ailey dancer. Like, I had dreams. I had dreams of being an Alvin Ailey dancer because I love to dance. I ran for Colgate at Pratt Institute. You couldn't tell me I wasn't about to be somebody on a meter dash. And I got pregnant at 15 in high school. That took a turn because I'm in the foster care system. Oh, my God, what am I going to do? Are they going to take my child from me? I'm only 15. How can I provide? So at 15, I had to become an adult. So while everybody out there playing games, jumping double dutch, I'm being a mother. So that was my high school years, being a mother and providing, making sure the system didn't take my child from me. Yeah. So that was my high school. And when I graduated high school, the staff at the high school let my daughter march with me.
Wow.
She was 4 years old. And they let her march with me.
Right.
And that was my high school.
So we finished high school. Now we go to college.
I was actually forced to go to college because I was a foster child. And they said, oh, the state paid for it. Go. It's free. It's free. So I wanted to take advantage of the system. So I ended up going to Mega Evers College. The group home was moving. And I was about to age out of the system because at 18, they make you fill out your paperwork for housing, Section 8, because after 21, if your paper don't come through, you're going from the group home to the shelter. So now the group home is moving. It's to Queens. It's too far for me to commute from Queens to Brooklyn to go to Mega Evers College. So then now I'm dropping out of school because I have a child I need to feed. The focus is I'm about to get out the system. School ain't going to feed me. These books ain't going to take care of Denasia. I need right now money. So once I dropped out of college and I started working at McDonald's on Sufton Boulevard in Linden, and I did that until it was time for me to age out. So school wasn't pressing at that time. I just was like, it's not going to serve me no purpose because I need to make sure my daughter doesn't come a statistic because a lot of times people that have children that are in foster care, their child now becomes in foster care. Right. That couldn't have been my story. Right. I had to break a cycle. I remember calling my social worker because I went on a trial discharge with my mother because I was so scared that they was going to take my baby. And I called my social worker and I was like, no, come get us. I walked in that house. It was a stranger, smoke filled with crack. My daughter's laying on the bed and my mother's nowhere to be found. Call my social worker, come get us now. And it was in that moment that I chose us. And that's just been what it's been.
Right. So your first daughter knows your mom, knew your mom.
Yes.
Right. So what happens, what's life after McDonald's? Like what happens? Did you land on your feet? Did you get an apartment?
So after I got out of foster care, I got called for housing. I ended up moving to Roosevelt Projects, which was a bonus because Denasia's father family lived down the block. So now I had access to if I needed childcare. I was put on welfare. Welfare was paying me $108 a month and $217 in food stamps for me and my daughter to survive. Wow. And I had to go to this WET program, work something program just for that little bit of money. They had me working in a nursing home with the old people, changing until I stopped the security guard. And I was like, how you get this job? I need to know how you got this job, where I need to go, and what I needed to do. He told me about FJC Security Company in Long Island City. I stopped going down, making my appointments to the welfare because I went to FJC and they hired me on the spot. I went and got my 8-hour certificate. I did my 8-hour class.
Fingerprint.
I sat there and they hired me on the spot. And I went from making whatever, $108 a month to getting paid weekly. And then that boosted me like, I can do this on my own. I can do this. I need to just stay focused because that $108,
Right.
my husband will tell you right now, we eat that in like a day.
Right.
and think
No,
about
for sure.
what it was back then when I got out of the system. I think it was like 2006. Living in the projects, even just living in the projects, I was like, oh my God, this can't be my life.
Right.
And something needed to change. And I just wanted more. I've always just wanted more. And I just always wanted more for Denasia at that time because it was just her and I.
Right. Do you feel like she kind of had to grow up with you?
Absolutely. She definitely had to grow up with me because I didn't know no better. I had her at 15, so as a mother, now she's like my test dummy. Not to say it like that because your first child is your trial and error.
Right.
But also, I probably overdid it, overprotected her overweight because an unprotected daughter is going to always be an overprotective mother.
Right.
Spoiled her. Anything that I didn't have, I gave it to her. Any love, I poured into her because that's what I wanted. So anything that I didn't get, I poured into her. So she definitely had to grow me. She was in the welfare with me. She sat in Mega Evers with me in the back of the classroom when I was trying to get my education. It was times where I was working at McDonald's and I had to sit Denasia in the corner, give her McDonald's just to keep her quiet because I had to work. So she definitely had to grow with me.
Right. And do you feel, has she had to heal from any of those experiences or for her it was kind of like, this was just my childhood?
For her, it was just a childhood because you never let your child see what you go through. There was times and it's crazy because me and the husband was I think I said it to him the other day, like it was times that I didn't eat just to make sure she ate. Because once I got a job at FJC, now they cut, welfare ain't going to take care of you because if you got a little bit of income, they had cut my food stamps, they cut the cash, so now I got to work with what I have, and on top of still paying the rent and the projects.
Right.
So there was times that I didn't eat. There's times where, like, dang, if I left my food out too long and there's roaches in it, I don't want to eat this, but I still got to make sure Denasia eat. Denasia hates spaghetti because I was a spaghetti-making person. She needed to eat.
Right.
I needed to do what I needed to do, forced to survive.
Right.
So she definitely grew with me, but she just thought that was her childhood because she never saw me sweat. She never had to figure out where it came from.
Right. So now you're in your early 20s?
Haha, you talking about right now?
No. Something like that, But when did you start to feel like you were born covered?
Laying in the bed one day, I was just having this feeling like something is not right. I am missing something. And who do I call? Mama Hagan. She's one of the staff from the group home who's always looked out for me after. And I called her. I said, Ma, what is that church you took us to when we were little at the group home? And she took us to First Baptist Church at Crown Heights. 450 Eastern Parkway. I walked into that church at first when I was 16, and then I came back at the age of 22. And it was the same welcome, the same vibe. And when I walked in there, I was like, this is what I needed. Went to the altar, prayed, just started crying, and I didn't know why. And somebody came in my ear. She probably don't even know it was her. Sonia Clark came in my ear, and she said, whatever it is, it's going to be all right. And from that day forward, I have been constantly going. And that's when I realized I was born covered because even in the midst of whatever I was going through, I'm still here. I'm still able to tell the story. I still have people around me to say, you've made it, you got through it. So they was pouring into me. My family of faith plays a huge role in my life because they've always poured and they always made me feel more than, and they always made me feel like you can do more. Like I tell these kids now, your then is not your now and it's not your forever.
Right. How much in life do you feel that you've had to teach yourself?
I had to teach myself a lot. I had to teach myself kindness because I thought everybody was mean. I had to teach myself patience. I had to teach myself to love because I'm raised off survival. When you raised off the survival, you're not looking for love. So I had to teach myself love. I was teased growing up as being a foster child, so now I got to teach myself worth. Shout out to my husband, know your worth and add taxes, because that's my thing now. I know who I am. I had to build my confidence. There were times that I would look in the mirror and feel unworthy. There was a time in my life like I cradled on the floor because I would try to take my own life because I felt unworthy. Now it's different. It's different when I look in the mirror because I have that support system. I have the people that my pull, my pour, and my push. I have people in my life that pull the best out of me. I have people in my life that pours into me, and I have people in my life that pushes me to be the best that I can be.
Right. Any therapy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Therapy, it was needed. It was needed. As a child, I used to be like, no, I don't want to talk. Because when I first had therapy, it got me taken away. Tell me what's going on in the house. You're going to be safe. You're going to be all right. And when I did it, I'm in foster care. So when I went to therapy, I never wanted to talk. I never wanted to share my emotions because I always felt like I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to be moved again. I'm going to mess up my life. I don't want to talk. I don't know. But as I got older, now I'm lashing out. Now I'm punching, breaking, screaming. So therapy was needed. And I'm still in therapy to this day.
Right.
So because it helps you find balance. It helps you find out your triggers. It helps you find out that when me and my husband argue, he's not the person causing your pain. The person that's causing your pain was the person that you didn't deal with when you were younger. So now he triggered that, and now you're taking it out on him. My daughter, I used to yell and scream at her because that's all I knew, not knowing now I'm causing her trauma. So it definitely affected, and I didn't learn all of this until therapy. So big ups to therapy.
Right.
Anybody that think therapy, go. If you find out who you are, you find out your triggers, and you dig into yourself, into things that you didn't know were even there, because you're living every day. I'm living every day, just pushing past it. I always tell people I found my happy place. I found my happy place because I don't want to deal with it. Who wants to sit in sadness? Who wants to relive this pain? But you just sweeping it under the rug, and then you just gonna keep tripping over it until you hit your head and explode. So I definitely recommend therapy. I am there now.
Right. I got an episode that was titled "Therapy is Gangster," you know, and I wanted to take a spin on that word because it's gonna be what we make it, and I wanted people to embody that. Like, therapy is gangster. Like,
it is.
It is the best thing you could do for yourself. And many times we don't have the tools and the resources. You don't know what you don't know. And it's totally okay to sit down, get it off your chest, and try to find those tools and the resources to be a better version of yourself.
Right.
I once had an episode called "Raised on Survival and Not on Love."
That's what I want.
And that was giving my parents grace, and a lot of, I like to speak on, I'm first generation American, parents from Honduras. So a lot of people that their family came here, we don't got no time for no hugs, none of that. Like, you fed, you bathed,
right.
You got a roof, you good. Like,
right.
I had a tin house, B. Like, they looking at us like, you ungrateful little.
Right.
Like, you don't know, how many times you ate today? Like, so it's like, damn, I can't say nothing.
Right.
And then I had to be like, you know what? You gave me these marble floors. You know what I mean? Like, whether it was I remember when it was carpet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now we got marble floors. So hey, you upgraded, I upgraded.
Right.
But you can't invalidate my feelings.
Absolutely, because my feelings are my feelings.
My feelings are my feelings. And whatever you got going on and whatever you haven't dealt with, now I'm dealing with it.
Absolutely.
And my mom used to say a lot of crazy things, like, and things that 8-year-old, 9-year-old kids shouldn't be hearing. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
or seeing,
and it was just, I'm not gonna. She hates when I repeat things, but so I'm not gonna say it because I don't want her to get back to me, because people be hating, people be sending my mother content trying to get her upset.
To
like,
get you in trouble.
Come on now, like, but it's no cap in my rap. I ain't lying.
Right.
Feel me? But people project.
Right.
And that anger and with those triggers and however she was spoken to is how she would speak to us sometimes. And she's a lot more gentle now. But those times, whatever she was battling, I don't know. But it was crazy.
We did the workshop this weekend, and the guest Brianna, and she said between the first 0 to 18 years of your life, it's definitely something blame your parents.
Right.
Basically, that's what she said, blame your parents, because they're molding you off of what they've learned and what they know. But my pastor also gave a sermon that said the trauma is not your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. So when are you going to stop blaming your trauma and work on your healing?
Right.
And when he said that, that was something else. Like, I cannot keep living in what my parents did. And that's why I just said what I said to my dearly departed parents. This is for you.
Right.
Because whatever you've been through, you put it in me, but I turned it into resilience.
Right.
I turned it into strength, and I'm able to sit here today. So, no, I wasn't responsible for my trauma, but my healing would definitely be my responsibility.
Right. How do you feel about the word victim?
Victim? I don't like the word victim, because when I tell my story, don't look at me as a victim. Look at me as a survivor. Because people do fall victim to being placed in foster care. A lot of my family members has been placed in foster care, and I look at them and I was like, wow, we all had the same opportunities, but we just turned out different. The word victim, no, because you could have came out of that. Use the system, and that's one of the things I did. I didn't fall to this victim. I didn't fall to the system. I didn't let my daughter go into the system, so I didn't become a victim of it because I didn't want to be a statistic. So I did everything that they said I couldn't do. Graduate high school, did that. College, did that. Married, did that. Homeowner, did that. I am not my story. I am bigger than with my parents. So victim, no, because you can always overcome. You can always come out of. You can always beat the odds. You change your mind. You change your thoughts. You change your life. You got to put a shift in your own atmosphere.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of things boil down to mindset.
Absolutely.
You know, and your mentality. And as they say, you know, you're rich in your mind long before you're rich in your bank account. You know, so I think sometimes I was always kind of, people like, what's wrong with him? You know, and it's just like, I just had big ideas. And I had no problem trying.
Right.
You know, I mean, look where we are today. You know, 200 episodes plus.
Nice.
You know, I got Darnella Miller on the couch. You know, Mrs. You know what I mean? Come a long way. So it's one of those things that sometimes you got to understand that that's your dream.
Right.
God gave it to you.
Absolutely.
You know, he put the vision in your mind. And he planted that. Now, you see it, and even with me playing baseball, even though things didn't go my way, I never stopped seeing it in my dreams.
Absolutely.
You know, my mother's like, yo, why are you still doing this? Like, what is this doing? And it was just like, I never gave up because I still saw it. If the dreams would have faded in my mind, then it would have faded in reality.
If you would have let somebody else have it faded in your mind.
Right.
I always say, when God's calling you, why is there nobody else on the line?
Right.
Because it's not the call for them. It's your call. It's between you and him, not everybody else.
Right.
So that's why God gave you the call and not everybody else.
Right. And that's one of the things I love. I was raised a Catholic in the Catholic church. And as an adult, converted, whatever you want to say, but I love Baptist churches. I like the vibe. Yeah, I you know, I'm a member of First Corinthians Baptist Church in Harlem. And just the vibe, the music, the similar story to you.
Yes.
Like, I was crying on this lady's chest hard. Like, I was bawling. And she's like, yo, you're going to be all right. And a lot of my decisions I made with the pastor in my church, like, I was scared to go overseas to play baseball. He's like, yo, God going to be with you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So what I love about the Baptist church and community is the autonomy. Like, it's between you and God.
Yes.
Like, who says you can't say sorry to God yourself?
That's right.
You know, you don't got to go to confession and see him, and you can confess yourself. You know, like, it was more of what I needed to know, that I can do it myself.
Right.
And that me being good with God doesn't run through the pastor over here. You know what I mean? Like,
it's between you, your
it's
Savior,
between me
your
and
Lord.
him. You know what I mean? So, and then being in church was more of we all servicing together. We all praying together.
And we all healing together.
And we all healing
and
together.
we all supporting each other.
Right.
And that's what I love about my family of faith. There's no judgment. There was times like I wasn't ready to let my family come to church. Like, I wouldn't invite my mother because this was my place of peace.
Right.
Nobody judged me. I wasn't looked at as the foster child. I wasn't looked at, oh, that's Shallette's daughter. Isn't her mother a crackhead? I was just looked at as Darnella.
Right.
And that's sometimes all you wanted to be, is just looked at for who you are,
Right.
not what somebody else tell you are.
Right. What does your faith mean to you?
My faith means everything to me, because my faith means I believe. My faith gives me hope. My faith gives me a vision. My faith lets me know that there is still life after this. The best days are yet to come. My faith is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness.
Right.
That's
Amen.
what my faith means to me.
And I know for me, I lost my father when I was 22.
Mm-hmm.
And all I did, I was already in the church a year at that time, but I went back home, went to church every Sunday, and not saying that I don't want to say like the healing was faster, but I felt like I just had a better understanding of his transition.
Right.
And him not suffering anymore. Because the selfish side of us is like, I need you here in the flesh, bro. Like you my ace.
Right.
But he was at peace. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was resting. He was no longer in pain. Like when he came to me in my dreams, he didn't have a cane. He didn't have a limp. You know what I'm saying? He spoke clearly because after he had a stroke, it kind of altered his speech a little bit.
Right.
And he spoke better Spanish than he did English. That's what kind of affected him. Like,
right.
I guess some words in English just didn't come out anymore.
Okay.
So he would talk to me in Spanish. But when I lost my dad was when I realized I wasn't that close to my mother. Because I was always with my pops. My pops was the emotionally available parent.
Right, right.
For me, so it was just, and especially as a young man, it's just like, I'm going to just kick it to you. Like, whatever I got going on, I'm going to talk to you about it.
Right.
And to this day, like, I have other people, but I don't really go to my mother like that for things.
Right.
Like, I just accept her for who she is, and she's amazing, she's healthy, she's doing better, but there's just certain things that is just not there.
It's not
and
there.
I'd rather not force it.
Right. Let me tell you, when my mother passed away, my mother had no life insurance.
Wow.
And I was like, everybody was like, well, you the oldest. I said, so you want me to take care of somebody that ain't take care of me? Do you know how hard it is to bury your parents? Well, you wouldn't know. I had to struggle with, I have to bury both of them because I had to do the same thing for my dad too.
Right.
So as a child, when I needed y'all the most, when I needed y'all to wipe tears and kiss boo-boos, I didn't have that. When I needed to talk, your father's the first man to tell you, this is the type of man that you deserve. The first man in my life clearly wasn't who he was supposed to be, but now I gotta lay you to rest. That was one of the hardest things I had to do, was lay my parents to rest and be like, yo, you can do this. Do not do this with the animosity that you have on your heart. And that's when my family of faith came in. When I lost my mother, my family of faith came together, and they was there with me to help me take care of my mother. When I lost my father 5 years later, my husband was there, and my family and my kids and my family of faith was there, but it was hard. It was hard to sit here and plan a funeral for two people that just left me stranded. And that's why I said it's not until now where I can say, I forgive you. I understand. I get it.
Right. That's powerful. It's powerful because, not being at peace with that, it just alters everything in your life, like your happiness, how you live, your success, your blessings. Like,
right.
sometimes you could block your own blessings, by having so much energy and animosity towards things. So I'm super happy to have you here and working through things and writing this book. So what do you feel, what are your intentions behind this book, and what do you think this book is going to do for the people?
This book is for a voice to be heard. That this little girl was in foster care, but do you see the smile on her face?
Right.
It's always a blessing on the other side of through. No matter what you go through, there's a blessing somewhere on the side of it. And look at me sitting here, a blessing. And that's what this book is about. No matter what you're going through, no matter the adversity, no matter your hurts, your pain, those are your moments. That doesn't define you. That's not the rest of your life. And you can create your own success story. And today, this is what Voice of a Foster Child is about. I was silent then, but I'm not silent now. And this book is to help people like you do not have to heal in silence. So I'm healing out loud for both of us. And when you read it, you'll see that you can relate to some of the hurt, the pain, the abandonment, the trauma. And there's a blessing on the other side of through. And that's what you're going to get out of Voice of a Foster Child. Like, I can still make it through. My best days is yet to come. This is not right now. This is not forever. This is just a moment in my life that when I look back, I'm going to be able to tell how I got through this and got through this story. Right. And that's what Voice of a Foster Child is.
I love that. Last two questions.
Yes, sir.
Message to your younger self.
Ooh, you ready? Yeah.
Let's tell the world. The world wants to know.
A message to my younger self. A message to my younger self was that little girl in that bathroom trying to take her life because she wasn't good enough. 14 years old, seeing herself in the mirror. Nobody wants you. Nobody loves you. You don't even love yourself. You out here just doing whatever you want to do, hoping the world take you away. But let me help you make this quicker. And it didn't happen. And a letter to my younger self is, baby girl, Nella Bella, as my brother loved to call me. Nella, look where you are now. If you would have been successful in that moment, you wouldn't be where you are right now to tell your story to somebody else who has experienced the same exact thing that you're feeling. So if you ever thought about it, it's not worth it, because there is something way beyond that moment. And that's what a letter to my younger self is. Like, your biggest strength is happiness. Your biggest strength is love. And above all, God has been covering you through because you weren't successful. You will still have life after this. And that's what a letter to my younger self is.
Love that. Message to the youth.
Message to the youth. Be the best version of you. Don't let nobody tell you who you are. Don't let nobody else define your story for you. Learn you, love you, always bet on you. Because when the world turns their back on you, it's going to be you and God. And my message to the youth, you can beat the odds. You can be more than your circumstances. You can be more than your situations. Your parent's story is not your story. At some point, you can break the cycle and say, I want to be more than. And not say I can be, say I will be more than. And that's my message to the youth. You are more than. Your living is not in vain. And your life has meaning. It has purpose, because you are not placed on this earth for nothing.
I love that. So I want to end here.
Yes.
To my Lord and Savior, Jesus, in the quiet moments of reflection and turbulent storms of life, your presence has been my constant anchor. You have covered me, your grace has carried me through challenges, and your love has illuminated my path. I am grateful for your gift of unwavering faith and the countless blessings that have poured from your hands. And you are the source of my strength, and to you I offer my praise.
And that's exactly what it is. Because everything that I've accomplished, I always like, oh, I just did it. But my friends and my husband, they tell me, you don't give yourself enough credit. Right. And I'm like, the credit is not for me, it's for God. And I don't give myself enough credit, because I'm thinking like, yo, I'm just supposed to do this. Right. No, this was your calling. This was your purpose. Walk in it. Like I just said, your living is not in vain. God didn't place me on this earth to just be nothing, to do nothing. So to him, I owe it all, because even in the midst of, he still carried me through. Like the footprints in the sand, it was I that carried you through when you only saw 2 footprints instead of 4. So God carried me through, and this is why he deserves all the praise and all the honor. And I'm going to give it to him.
Right. So when does the book come out?
August 3rd.
August 3rd,
August
very soon.
3rd. Launch, signing, Voice of a Foster Child will be available.
Love that. Where can we find you? Websites, social media?
I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook as Darnella Miller. I'm on Instagram as Born Covered. I'm on LinkedIn as Darnella Miller as well. I don't know how to work Twitter, so I'm not on Twitter, but definitely LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Right. So we'll make sure to follow each other on all platforms so we can collab and promote this episode. It'll be out the following Wednesday. I believe that's the 24th.
Ooh.
And, I think a week or a few days, probably 9 days or so before your book releases. I'm super thankful for your time, presence, and energy, sharing a part of the story, and for choosing Conversation with Zoe.
I thank you for having me. I thank you for allowing me to be on this platform to tell my story, because you don't hear a lot of stories about the foster youth and the foster system. So I'm glad I'm able to share this moment, share this time, and sit on this couch and share my Voice of a Foster Child, my baby, with you into the world.
All right. So thank you, man. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Look for everything we have going on. And thank you for all your family members and loved ones. Malika for,
Yes. Can we give her a shout out for real, though?
Go for it.
Malika, girl. I'll be like, yo, I'm going to kill you, girl, but I love you. I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you for this moment. You never tell me no. Anytime like, your friend, I need something, and you give me your yes. I also want to give a big shout out to my husband for who's sitting over there, to my consultant. I love you, China. Thank you guys for being here, for supporting me. My husband holds me down all the time. I'm like, husband, I need you up here. You're going to be my bodyguard. I need you. I don't know what I'm walking into. Malika, of course, Donna, Keena, my pastor, Papa Ron. Oh my God, I don't even know how you got all of this, but I love you guys. I thank you, my auntie Ludi, my family of faith. I could not have done this without them.
Right. So everybody take care. As always, I've been saying this all summer. Please be selective on your events and your functions. Have a fun and safe summer. Trust your gut.
Absolutely.
Not every event is for you. And, be safe. None of that, my phone died with your parents. Don't play with your parents like that. None of that, my phone died stuff. Communicate, please.
Absolutely.
Communicate with your parents, your whereabouts. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there and be safe.
Be
We
safe.
out.
Bye.